Good evening and welcome. It's May 15th. It is a Thursday. And I want to give a warm welcome to all of you that are joining me. Fight CPS and stop taking our children. I'm your host, Bob Pace. And for the next 60 minutes, I want to help you with your case. I'm not an attorney, but a loving father and a husband. I have helped raise 6 children. One in their 40s, 2 in their 30s, 2 in their 20s, 1 in the teens. And I love my family. I love my wife. And I have 42 years of marriage experience and a lot of life skills. But I'm here not as an attorney, but as a man that wants to help out others with a terrible, terrible time he had with CPS. I too was taken back by CPS. I made all the wrong mistakes. And I've developed 5 rules that will help you with your case. Now, this is a live stream broadcast around the world. I've talked to 23 countries, including the United States, and all 50 states, including the District of Columbia. It's a worldwide problem. CPS is a worldwide problem, not only in the United States, but all over the place. And from the people I've talked to, the over 1,600 some people I've talked to over the last 19 months have shared a similar story that I had, that I encountered a rogue CPS system. Now, what I call the child protection system is the government entity in every county, in every state, and every city around the world. It may have different names, but I just say CPS and pretty much everybody knows what I'm talking about. The child protection system may be called, like in LA County in California, the Department of Children and Family Services. Or in Arizona, may be called the Department of Children's Services. Or back in the California next county, Orange County, is called the Child Protection Services. But in Kentucky, it's called the Cabinet. So whatever the name is, I refer to CPS, the Child Protection System. So anytime I see CPS, you all are thinking the same thing as I'm thinking. It's a government agency that was created in 1962 by Congress passing a law that said that we need to protect our children from neglect and from abuse. We also need to do what's called family reunification, put the family back together. And no child should be taken if they're not in imminent danger. What has happened is a lot of the corrupt and rogue CPS systems are taking our children. They say we need to take your child. They don't have a specific reason. They're investigating you. They don't even have what your neglect or abuse is about. So those kinds of systems you got to be careful about. There are laws to protect you. There's civil rights and constitutional rights. You have the right to refuse anybody coming into your home, whether it's the police or a social worker. Your home is your castle. And the only time that police can enter the home or social workers is if you give them permission or someone in the home gives permission. So you got to make sure all your family members know about keeping the door closed and locked and don't answer it. You never know what's on the other side of the door. You never know. Now, I'm on here twice a day. I come on Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. in the morning. And then on the weekend, I'm on at 8 a.m. Then every night of the week, all 7 days, I'm on at 7 p.m. Those times are Pacific Standard Time. I'm broadcasting from the West Coast of California, a place called Surf City, 3 blocks from the beach. And I really am concerned about a lot of you out there because you're a nervous wreck. You're really falling apart and nobody's giving support. Your family members don't support you. I do support. I know what you've been through. There's a very sweet mother from Leica in South Africa that's called in several times about her case being as bad as it is. I've heard from people recently in North Carolina and South Carolina and in California how bad their case is. I had a young man in his 20s that was brought up in foster care that called in from Maine about how corrupt foster care was and how it destroyed your life and how the sight of CPS follows you later when you go into adult life. I've heard of horrible stories where a mother have a child that's still in the system at the age of 19 and refuse to let them out because they're supposed to be out at age 18. They turn an adult. But their CPS is greedy. It's all about money. The bad CPS systems is all about money. Now in 62, when government created this group of social workers to protect our children from neglect and abuse, it wasn't until 1974 when they passed the laws to enforce it. So it's had a slow beginning. Now there's three parts of history of the child protection system. The early part is from 1600s to 1875. That's part one. And there really was not much, but people were helped. Children were protected. And if people were bad, they were prosecuted. But in 1875, there's something called the societies. And New York was one of the first ones to have it, where these very wealthy people were trying to take care of children being exploited. But at the same time, the first immigrants to our country, the Native American Indians, were rounded up and put on reservations, and their children were rounded up and put at private Indian schools where their hair was cut, their culture was trying to be erased, and they never got to see their parents again. It's sad. That went on for over 100 years into 1978, when the Indian Child Welfare Act was passed, where CPS is instructed to make sure that all children, if they're Indians, are not registered with the tribes or already are registered. If they're registered or they're going to be registered, then the children are immediately turned over to the Indian tribes. They take care of their own. They'll put them with a family, and their whole purpose is reunification. And that act is supposed to protect them. And that's 1978, the Indian Child Welfare Act. Now, the laws were passed in 74, and they were enforcing them. Now, the mandated reporters are the health professionals like your doctors and nurse, your school teachers, your firemen, and your policemen. Those are what's called the professionals, the mandated reporters. And they're supposed to report child abuse and neglect. And they've gone through they've gone through training. And they're required by law to report it. So if a doctor's examining a child and sees all these bruises, he has to report it. If this kid comes to school not properly dressed or out of it, they're going to report to social services. They're going to get a hold of the child protection system in that county. Now, I'm here to help you all by your questions and your concerns in your case. And right now you see up in front of the screen is a phone number, 888-888-6582. And that particular number is the law office of Vincent W. Davis. He's the person that created this live stream, and I want to thank him. He's also my attorney I had hired to get my kids back. He has over 39 years of experience of fighting CPS. He is trained, educated, and licensed in juvenile law, family law, and dependency law. Those are the three areas of law that is very important, that you have an attorney with that background that has to fight for your children's rights and for your rights to get your children back. Now, I noticed that Jessica came on this morning and she says, I'm starting a political union to stop CPS. Will you join me? Send me a message if you like to contact information. Well, Jessica, I need more than just your name on here because I have no way to send a message. And you came on here, and I don't know how to get a hold of you, Jessica. I think that Jessica's been on, and hopefully you're the same one. Now, tonight at 7:12, hello, Jonathan Mabagad. Jessica, how are you doing? Can I get your contact information? Well, Jessica was on this morning. Somehow her message showed up at 8:20, and I didn't do my live stream to 10, and I didn't see it on my other um, live stream. But I don't know if she's here or not, uh, Jonathan. And again, thank you. Now, what kind of, where are you from? I think it's important because um, if you're going to text messages, please text either a comment or a question and should pertain to CPS. Please state your first name, your city or county, your state, and country. That's right, because I have, as I say, 23 countries represented in here, from Indonesia to Bangladesh to India to Libya and Saudi Arabia, then over to the Africa. I have Liberia, Sudan, Republic of Congo, Rwanda, Mozambique, and 2 provinces in South Africa. Then over up to Europe, I have England, Scotland, Wales, and Denmark and Sweden. Then over to the pond, over to North America, I've had Canada, 4 provinces there, and all 50 states, including the District of Columbia, I've heard from. And south of the border, I've heard from Mexico, and then down South America, north of Brazil, on the coast, I've heard from Grenada. Then across the pond, I have heard from South Africa. I had several calls from South Africa. And then the land down under, I have Australia. I've talked to Queensland on the East Coast and Victoria. Those are the 2 states I've talked to. So there's a lot of people. As I say, it's over 1,600 people I've talked to. And that's since October 2023. Also, when you are sending me the text message, please tell me about your CPS case from beginning to where you're at. So start when the social worker comes knocking at your door and to your latest court date. To where you're at right now. So I can help you and other people can. This is an interactive live stream. People can be guests. I can take up 9 of you, or they can call in. And I can only do 1 call at a time. Now, sometimes we start off slow. Sometimes we start off with a lot of people. My regulars usually come in here. So another way to interact with this live stream is you can be a guest on my live stream. To be a guest, I can take 9 of you. All you have to do is email my show producer, grace@vincentwdavis.com. You put your request, I want to be a guest on Bob's Monday evening show, or Bob's Wednesday morning show, or Bob's Tuesday morning show, or Bob's evening. I'm on twice a day. Twice a day I'm on. And I love to help you. I love to help you. I care so much about you. I want to help and give something back. That's the kind of person I'm in. That's the kind of person I'm at. So to be that guest, all you do is send the email to grace@vincentwdavis.com. That's grace@vincentwdavis.com. And you just say, I want to be Bob's Friday night show, or Bob's Wednesday morning show, or Bob's Monday night show, or Bob's Sunday night show. You just say the date, not the date, the day of the week, and whether it's morning or evening. Those are the 2 times I have there. And she'll go over what you can say or do, like there's no eating or smoking on the show. We do not use persons' first names. But she'll help you get started and adjust your settings and so forth. And she'll mail you the link to get on what's called StreamYard. That's what I'm broadcasting using YouTube to broadcast. StreamYard is a software application that organizes my page and my comments and everything there. So I told you how you can text a message or be a guest. Now, another way, a third way to interact with me is that you're going to call my number. My number is 626-698-0990. And you can reach me directly. My phone is right by my computer and I'll answer it. So we'll be live, but you will not be on camera. So I'm going to leave my number up for a bit there, and hopefully some more people will come in here. So far, we have Jessica from this morning, and then we have Jonathan Mamagon that came in this evening. I'm sorry, it's actually Janeth Mama God. I have a terrible time pronouncing names. I need to stop that. Hello, Happy Feet. So glad to hear from you. Happy Feet is a regular person in this room, and she's from San Diego area, down south. Her husband is an indigenous Indian. He has a tribe there, and they want to put their children on the Indian tribe's hands on the reservation. But so glad to see you, Happy Feet. And what's the latest? Did you not get a chance to talk to Vincent Davis? Yes, things are well. I'm hanging in there. But I wonder how you made out with Vincent Davis. Now, Happy Feet's been on and off this show for a long time. She's one of the regulars. And Janeth Mamagon, I have no idea where you're from. And I don't know if we're going to see Jessica because that was a morning time, 8:20 Pacific Standard Time. And Jonathan Madigan came on at 7:12. So he may be still around. Now, I've been doing this pretty regularly now for 19 months and over 7,600 people. Excuse me, over 1,700 people. You had court yesterday. Okay. How did it go? How did your court hearing go? Can you tell us? Do you want to call in? My number's up. You can call in. Good evening. And you reached Bob Pace on the live stream. What can I do to you? What can I do for you?
Hi, Bob. It's Happy Feet. I'm sitting here with my daughter, Samantha. Hi.
Oh, hi. Let me think now. My mind is escaping my head right now at the moment.
It's okay.
This is Happy Feet, and your name is Kathy?
Happy Feet. It's Amanda.
Amanda, that's right. That's what I thought. Yeah, Amanda, and you have your daughter. How did you get your daughter? That is really good news.
She's our oldest daughter. She just turned 19.
Okay. So she's
And so she came home.
right, right. I bet you're happy about that.
Yes. Yes, very happy, both of us.
Yeah. So what's the latest now? I know that your husband's part of the Indian tribe, and you're trying to get the tribe to take your children to an Indian home.
But they're with my parents right now. We had court yesterday.
Hold on one second. Someone's trying to call in. We're going to put you on a brief pause. Hello there. This is Bob Pace live stream. Who am I talking to?
Hello, hi, good evening. This is Janet Mamangong.
Okay, hi Janet. I have Happy Feet. I have Happy Feet from San Diego, California, that's on the other line, and I can only talk to one at a time. So can you call me back when you get a chance to?
Okay, no problem.
All right, thank you very much. Yes, you can call me back later tomorrow or tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Tomorrow morning at 10 a.m.
Okay, thank you.
You bet. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Okay. All right, Happy Feet, you still there?
Yes, we're still here.
Good. So you have your older daughter, 19, at home, and your young child is at your parents', correct?
We have 4 more children at my parents' house.
4 of your children, okay. And what are their ages again?
17, 14, 10, and 2.
17, 14, 10, and 2. Wow, that's quite a range.
Yes.
All right, and they're with your mother.
Yes.
Now, why would you think that the Indian tribe would be better than the arrangements you have with your mother? You have a plan that you're following with the CPS system there in San Diego, California?
We're in Arizona.
I keep forgetting that. You're right. You're in Arizona. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Okay. We're just trying to get everything switched over to the tribal courts.
Right.
So instead of, that's all that we're trying to do. They're okay at my parents' house. We're just trying to get it switched to the tribal courts because right now DCS is not allowing even our oldest daughter now to visit with her siblings. And so that's one of our main goals right now is to make sure she gets to visit with her siblings.
Okay.
Yesterday when we had court, my lawyer did not show up again.
That was your court-appointed attorney?
Correct.
Now, when you talked to the court, did you mention that to him? Your attorney's not there, that you want to have a continuance?
We were not able to because the state was asking for a continuance because they did not serve the tribe as they were supposed to serve the tribe to let them know of the court hearing, and they were not prepared.
Oh,
at all.
You caught the CPS on their seat of their pants then. Okay, good.
They asked for a 45-day continuance.
Okay, so it's continued. So your attorney, now, did you ask the attorney why he didn't show up, or he or she?
Yes, I send him an email. I do after every time he does not show up, and I never get a response.
Have you gone to the public defender's office there at the court in the dependency court?
No, I have not.
Okay, well, you need to do that because you need to register a complaint. And if he keeps doing this, you need to replace him. If he won't be replaced, then you can go ahead and file a lawsuit against him for negligence and have him disbarred by calling the state capital in Arizona and have the attorney, the state bar there, disbar him for failure to perform as an attorney.
Okay.
So what else happened at that court hearing yesterday?
My daughter came for the first time, and she's it was all a virtual hearing over the phone, And she came in and she said that she was our oldest daughter and that she was our youngest daughter's sister. And afterwards, my husband's lawyer did email DCS asking that we have more parenting time and that my daughter be able to have more visitation with her siblings. Because right now, DCS is not allowing for her to visit with her siblings. And we've not been given a reason why.
Okay. But you still get to see your children, so that's good because they're with your parents.
Yes.
Now, the plan that they give you on, have you done anything with the plan that you're on?
Yes. We get to see our kids for 4 hours, 1 day a week. That's it. And we have done 8 different classes, all of which we finished, got our completion certificate. We did nurturing parenting program, which we got our completion certificate, and we also did a tarot drug assessment where they said there was no need for us to be there at all, and there was no need for any further service because they didn't see we had any kind of issue or anything like that.
Wow. Well, that's certainly not a pleasant thing. How are the children doing, by the way?
Not so great. Our second oldest daughter, DCS, has put her in a mental health type facility or juvenile mental health place. She was getting very sad without her mom and her dad and her older sister, and she started to act out and have emotional breakouts, and so that's where the DCS sent her there at this place called Mingus Mountain. And it's been on the news a lot lately for a lot of horrible things that they're doing to these kids that DCS is sending there.
Wow.
And we just feel completely powerless, like we can't save her from this place. But
did you ever get a chance to talk to? Did you ever get a chance to talk to Vincent Davis?
I have not yet. No.
Had you been scheduled a time yet?
I have not. We've been with our oldest daughter that's here now. She's been a little bit on the sick side. So we've been taking care of her.
But has Grace been in touch with you?
No, not yet.
Well, I want you to write Grace real quickly. You have paper and pencil?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, you can write her that Bob had turned in your name to have a private consultation with Mr. Davis for 15 minutes, and you've not heard from her when the consultation will take place. Can you do that?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, that way, because I know that I've emailed the request to her. So the ball's in her court.
Just brought something, a good idea. She wanted to know if there was any questions that we should think of to ask Mr. Davis.
Well, I think you want to ask him legal questions because he is a legal attorney. And so there must be some legal questions you want to ask. Is that why is it so difficult for the court to ignore your husband's membership in the Indian tribe, which would make your children be registered? Now, have you got anything from the tribe that says that your husband is registered with the tribe?
Yes, I do. He has his membership number. He's been enrolled.
All
His
right.
mother's enrolled.
What
He
you
is
do is
enrolled.
you ask Mr.
Yes.
Davis that he's been enrolled, he has his membership number, but now who's dragging their feet? Is it CPS or is it the Indian tribe?
It's CPS. The tribe at this last hearing asked for why they have not received any of the paperwork or anything from DCS. And they said their actual response was because we thought they ripped it up and threw it away. We thought they would just rip it up and throw it away.
Wow. That's one important thing you need to express to Mr. Davis. That is totally, totally bad. How are other things going?
They're going. We just miss our kids, and we're glad one of them's home. We're very worried about our second oldest and where she's at, and I know
Was she with your
daughter's
mom?
very
Is your
excited
second
to
oldest with
be
your
able to
mom?
see
Is your second oldest with your mom?
No, she is not. DCS put her in a youth facility called Mingus Mountain.
Why did they put? How old is
young-
she? How old is she?
She's 17.
And they put her where?
And it's somewhere called Mingus Mountain.
Wow. Well,
and they've been on the news quite a bit lately for sexual assault cases, for neglect, for abuse.
Wow.
So it's very scary. We're very worried. Mr. Davis, what do you Mr. Bob?
Yes,
what do you
go ahead.
suggest I do about not being allowed to see my siblings?
So, can you say the question one more time again?
What do you suggest I do about not being allowed to see any of my siblings?
Well, I thought you had visitations with. Oh, your sisters. You're allowed to see your sisters.
Yeah.
Why is that? I didn't know about that.
Yeah, my oldest daughter, she was the one just speaking. They're not allowing her to see her siblings. DCS has not given us a reason why. That they're not allowed. She's not allowed to see her sisters or her brothers at all. They won't give her time for visitation. They won't set up a time so she can see them or arrange.
Have you asked the judge why? Have you addressed the judge and asked why?
That's what we just after this last hearing.
And what did the judge say?
And she put in the request.
Okay.
We haven't heard back yet. But
all right. Well, you got to be on top of that. Don't let it get on the back burner.
Okay.
And I want to say hello to Betty Jo, who's from Montana, that came in tonight. And she says, "Hey, Bob and everybody, good evening. Can you go there and see her? You want me to go someplace and see her in Arizona?" And then you should ask the judge, get it as a court order. Okay, she says, Betty Jo, to get it as a court order. Okay, Amanda, you want to get it as a court order.
Okay.
I'm talking to Happy Feet, who's an Indian family, and they're from Arizona, and they're having trouble to break away from CPS and put their matter into tribal court because that's where they want the case be held. And CPS has to, because of the law of 1978, it was the ICWA, the Indian Child Welfare Act, that said that CPS must turn over the children if they're recognized or registered members of the Indian tribe. They're not doing that. So that is wrong. That is wrong.
Thank you.
Yeah. No, she needs to go to the hospital. Your daughter needs to go. Are you talking, Betty Jo, about Amanda, Happy Feet, or you're talking about her daughter? I'm confused what Betty Jo's asking. Both. Oh, okay. She says her daughter and you need to go to the hospital. What do they do at the hospital that could help them out, Betty Jo? I'm confused. I'm trying to wait for an answer. Betty Jo's is trying to help out, Amanda.
Right. I think she's just saying that we need to go to the hospital, visit my second oldest daughter, which I totally agree. I know my daughter really needs to see the sister.
Okay, yeah, I agree too there. Okay, so I think that cleared it up. I think Amanda, who's happy feet, cleared it up. Okay, thank you, Betty Jo. Thank you for your help and your input. It's always good to have members in here that help one another.
Yes, thank you so much.
And Betty says you should be allowed to have visitors. Your siblings should be allowed to have. That's wrong what they're doing. That's wrong. And you have a lawyer that I would fire, and I would do a complaint to the public defender's office at the dependency courtroom. Every courthouse has an office where the public defender is housed. The court appointed attorneys are. And that's something that, you should think about. You should think about.
I will. I will definitely.
Now, I had something the other day that I was talking about. I don't know if you remember me talking about it, but it's really a good message. And I have Betty Jo in tonight, and I have you, and I don't think you two have heard it, but let me read it to you and see what you think about this.
Okay.
Okay, there was an article. Now I got to find it. Let me see if I can find it.
No problem.
Well, I thought it saved it in there, but it's not there. So I have to find it again in my email. Let me see what this one here. Nope, it's not that one. Oh, yeah, this is a good one here. Let me see if I can pull it up here. This I'd like to share with you guys. It's from a magazine called thehill.com. I don't know if it's a magazine or a thing there. It's opinion. And I guess it's expressed from the White House. And they are by authors and not necessarily the view of the hill. Now, Melissa Merrick and Jody Levinson Johnson stated on May 12th at 10 o'clock. It said, recently a chorus of voices in child welfare have tried to frame the growing national effort to reduce unnecessary family separation as a threat to child safety. But what they're selling isn't the truth. It's fear. And that fear fuels a system that too often harms the very children it claims to protect. The real truth is children do best with their families. The child welfare system has far too long confused poverty with neglect, punishing families who are poor with separation rather than offer the supports that can keep families together safely. They always pick on people that are poor. It's sad. According to the federal statistics, 75% of child maltreatment cases involve neglect, not abuse, and which often labeled as neglect is a frequency a symptom of poverty. Inadequate housing, food insecurity, lack of child care, and missed medical appointments. It's not a willful affair to care for a child, but a lack of resources to do that. See, not only is social services, which created the child protection system that's supposed to protect your children from abuse and neglect, they're supposed to offer you food, shelter, clothing, medical, transportation, education, and even a job. They're supposed to offer those things, not condone the person and make them feel bad because they, through hard times, maybe their home burned down. Maybe they had a terrible hurricane, the house washed down, the floods. See, North Carolina and South Carolina and Alabama and Kentucky and Tennessee and Mississippi, all those areas were really swept up by the hurricane that came ashore and did a lot of damage. And then you had the fires in North Carolina. Then you had fires in California that burned houses to the ground. And what they need to do is they need to help people, not make them feel bad because they don't have a home and penalize them. That's so sad that the CPS entities out there are that bad. Now, still, more than 1/3 of all children in the U.S. experience a child protection service investigation by 18. That means 1/3. So that's 33% of 100, by 18. So every 100 children, 33% of them will be investigated before they're 18. And that number rises to more than 50% for Black children. That means half. If you have 100 Black children be investigated, 50 of them, if you have 100 Black children in the neighborhood, 50 of them are being investigated before they reach 18. These investigations are invasive, traumatic, and often lead to unnecessary separations. They want to take away the child, the CPS does. Yet there's little evidence that these disruptions lead to a better outcome. In fact, research shows the opposite. A study published in JAMA Pediatrics found that children placed in foster care are more likely to experience mental health issues, struggle in school, and encounter the criminal legal system than their peers who remain at home, even when those peers lived in similar challenging conditions. The authors concluded that foster care placement can compound the harm children have already experienced rather than alleviate it. Critics also invoke children fatalities to justify the current system's punitive approach, but the data tells a more hopeful and instructive story. Child fatalities from maltreatment have actually declined over the past year, while remained fairly stable over the past 5 years. Experts point to key preventive factors behind this trend: expanded use of early intervention programs, better risk assessment tools, and increased access to basic support like housing, food, and childcare. A study on the state spending on public benefit programs found that for every additional $1,000 per person living in poverty spent on public benefits, child maltreatment fatalities dropped by nearly 8%, rather than evidence for more surveillance. These numbers show that when we invest in support, we save lives. I can go on and on. This article is really good. It was produced by The Hill, and it's dated May 12th, so it's pretty recent. But in there, it tells you. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I do agree with that because our two oldest daughters suffered a lot of mental health issues now, and one of our daughters were sexually assaulted, not while in my mother's care, but while on DCS's care, and it caused a lot of emotional trauma and hurt for them.
Right.
And nothing like that I just feel like nothing like that would have happened at home.
Okay.
You know,
I want to welcome one of her regular listeners. She had to use another account. Her name, this listener came as Irma Ortiz, but she's using her friend's phone. This is Cruel, who's also known as Felicia, from Ventura, California, where she has a mother that's missing. Her home is being taken by her family members, and she's homeless, and her two babies are in foster care because the family's turned against her. And she has a terrible case. But welcome, Irma, Felicia, Cruel. I don't know what name to call there. But she's using her friend's phone. And her friend, I guess, is Irma Ortiz. So I'm glad you're here, Felicia. That's good there. I have on the phone Amanda, who is Happy Feet from Arizona, who is going through a horrible time trying to see her children and also her children to see her siblings. It's really a shame that when they break up a family, they do all these separations from family members. That's wrong. It's very traumatic. You know, CPS makes more traumatic in families when they break them apart. You don't have to break a family apart every time there's a case. You know, 75% of the lay people 50% of the lay people that call in, 50% is not true. There are people using motives to retaliate against a neighbor or family members trying to break up the family. And that is sad. That is really, really, really sad. So I'm glad you guys are listening here tonight and have come in here. Some of you may have already left the room, but we've had some people come in here, and I'm so glad to have Happy Feet on the phone. We did have an earlier caller who wanted to talk too. And if the earlier caller's around, we see her name is Janet Martagan. Now, I don't know where you're from, Janet, but I'd like to hear from you again if you want to call in. I don't know. Is there something else you have for me, Happy Feet, Amanda?
I just want to say, as you were talking about that article,
yeah,
it is very true. It is. And now my second oldest daughter is at that place, the Meanest Mountain place, who is just known for horrible things. And our daughters have to be victims of sexual assault. They've had to endure all kinds of horrible things. And for what reason? Because they wanted to separate our family. And it's horrible. And I'm thankful that my daughter is so strong and that she's working hard every day. And she's here with me now. And I'm very proud of her and that she's working hard every day to make sure she fights for her siblings and that she gets better every day from the trauma that DCS caused.
Okay. I do want to read the article further on. It says the uncomfortable truth is that we built a surveillance state around poor families. That is so true. And we call it protection. The mandated reporting system that is the center of child welfare policy is flawed. It has led to over-reporting of cases. Of the 4.4 million referrals from mandatory reporters in 2019, 2 million were screened out. That means 50% in 2019 were necessary, thereby mandated. So it may be closer to more like maybe 75% of the lay people use it for alternative motives. And that is sad. That is sad when I hear that. Meaning they did not warrant an investigation. 2 million did not. This isn't small numbers. 4 million. I mean, too often family supports and child safety are held up as a false dichotomy. We can both support families in a way that helps prevent the need for government intervention and provide the safety measures that protect children where harm is alleged. That includes offering such services as home visits, child tax credit, or housing assistance, because the research is clear. When families access to basic supports, child maltreatment declines. Consider the data in states that implement the expanded child tax credit in 2021. Food insecurity and financial hardship dropped significantly with that. Second, a national study by researchers at the Mark Chaffin Center for Healthy Development found that increases in access to such concrete support as rent assistance and utility led to reduced involvement by child protection services. Third, high quality home visiting programs like the Nurse Family Partnership and Healthy Families America led to a decrease in substantive reports in child maltreatment by as much as 48%. That's half. This isn't ideology, it's evidence. Let's be clear. There are cases of real heartbreak and abuse. And yes, some children must be removed from parents for their safety. But these cases are not the norm. The overwhelming majority of the families caught in the system are just struggling, not dangerous, and they deserve support, not separation. We also can't ignore how disproportionately the Black families are reported, investigated, and separated from their children. Studies show that even when controlling for income and type of allegations, Black children are more likely to be removed than white children. This isn't a coincidence, it's bias baked in every level of decision making. The real truth about child welfare in America is that it's not keeping the children safe, but it could. It's time we move from surveillance to support, from punishment to partnership, because when we give family what they need, we protect the children the best. Dr. Melissa Merrick is president and CEO of Prevent Child Abuse America, the nation's oldest and largest nonprofit organization dedicated to the primary prevention of child abuse and neglect. Dr. Jo Levson Johnson is president and CEO of A Social Current. She is a licensed clinical social worker with nearly 30 years of experience in the field of human services. Wow.
Wow.
This is a really powerful article that I got to share with you guys. I'm glad I did.
Thank you.
And I wanted to share it with you all because I try to find things here and I try to make this live stream interesting so that people will stay here and listen. It's like we suddenly have. Anyway, Cruel, do you have another question for us? Felicia from Ventura, do you have anything to ask us? Betty Jo, do you have any more questions to ask us? I don't know. Are you still in the room? Are you still in the room, Cassandra? Whoops. I lost Cassandra. Let me see if I can get her back.
Hello?
Yeah, you're still with me, aren't you?
Yes, we're still here.
Okay. Are you in the room right now?
I believe so.
The reason why I'm asking is I have a little icon. It's an eye, and it says 0 people in the room. And I can't believe that no one's in this room. Usually I've never seen that happen before. That's why I ask you, is Happy Feet still in the room?
Yes, we're still in the room. I'm on the room on my device, and my daughter's also in the room.
Yeah, I don't understand this C&I thing. If it shows one person, but it never tells me who that one person or 2 or 3 or 4. It's one person that is in the room. Let me see what room they're in. Because I have the defense attorney, Fight CPS with Bob Pace, Fight Real Talk, Law with Vincent Davis, Juvenile Dependency, The Secret How to Fight, the Reality Series, and Relatives Fight CPS. And it shows 0. It's really strange. Now, maybe if you're in a Facebook room, StreamYard won't count those people. Are you in a Facebook room or are you in a YouTube room?
We're in a YouTube room.
Okay. What's the name of the room you're in?
It says it's Fight CPS Stop Taking Our Children.
Okay. It does not say CPS Defense Attorney Vincent Davis, does it?
I think that's what it says, right? Fight CPS Stop Taking Our Children.
Right. That's the room that you're in. And so that's the name of the YouTube video, and I'm using StreamYard as the application there. But I'm glad to see the names here. I'm glad to see you all. I want to thank Jessica for this morning coming in at 8:20 in the morning. I don't start my live stream till 10 o'clock, but she somehow found the room and was in it. And she says she started a political union to stop CPS. So she's asked for people to help. And then we have Janice Mabigon, who I don't know where she's from. But she called in at 7:12, and then she tried to call right when you're talking to me. So I asked her to come back tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. And I have no idea where she's from. And then we have Happy Feet with 4 or 5 comments, and she's from Arizona. And then we have Betty Jo with 6 or 8 comments from Montana. And then we have Cruel, which is Felicia from Ventura, California, Ermin Ortiz. So I want to thank all of you very much for being a part of this live stream. I just show 0 people in the room. And so it's kind of strange here because I feel like I'm talking, no one around to listen to. Is there any other questions that come across your mind since you got this time to talk to me? Is there anything else?
No, there isn't. Thank you so much, Mr. Ball. You have no idea how helpful you've been. You've given me so much hope for my siblings.
Yeah, well, the main thing is you need to have your siblings a chance to see their other siblings. And you need to ask the judge that, and you have filed a motion for that. You need to be on top of that. And you need to get rid of that attorney that's not shown up or called or anything. And you can make a formal complaint. You can make a formal complaint and have him disbar. Because if he's being negligent, that's wrong.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So anyway, I hope that you stay in touch, and we'll talk again real soon. Okay?
All right. God bless. Thank
All right.
you.
God bless
Bye-bye.
you. Bye-bye. Okay, that was Happy Feet, who wanted very much help, and she's gotten some help, but she has a hard case where her siblings aren't able to see each other's siblings that are separated. We're getting close to the end of our show right now. It's about, it's 8 o'clock. It's time for me to close my show down, I want to thank Happy Feet, who's was on the phone and talking. Um, she is Amanda, and she's from Arizona, and she's a Native American Indian, and so she has a really hard case. I'm glad she keeps coming back. I want to thank Betty Joe for all the um, things here. Okay, so I'm going to wrap up the show here. I want to thank Betty Joe from Montana for being in the room and your advice. It's very thankful. I want to thank Felicia from Ventura, California, and of course, Happy Feet, Amanda from Arizona. And Janice Monogram, I have no idea where you're from, but I hope you call in tomorrow's show at 10 o'clock in the morning. It's good having you in the show. And then hopefully I'll see Jessica in tomorrow's show too. So this is Bob Pace. I'm telling you to keep fighting for your kids. Love your children. Love your family. God bless you. And this is Bob Pace.